Hey, how's it going guys? This is Tom from UDS and welcome to our review of Star Wars The Force Unleashed, now available on Nintendo Switch. We're gonna tell you everything you need to know before you play, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for plenty more on all things Star Wars and gaming. Check out the description below for links to our playlist. So, developers Aspyr have been doing an amazing job of reviving some of the classic Star Wars games of the past 20 years or so. I mean, think about it. The likes of Republic Commando, Jedi Academy, and the amazing Knights of the Old Republic are no longer considered canon, and it'd be pretty easy for them to just fall into obscurity, with Disney and co more interested in writing their own stories. But Aspyr are determined not to let this happen, re-releasing each on the Switch in shiny HD for a whole new generation to enjoy, with The Force Unleashed being their latest offering. So I'm gonna run down a pretty spoilerific synopsis for anyone interested in the lore like me, but if you'd rather go in blind to an admittedly 14-year-old game, I'm not gonna judge, just skip to the time on screen. Are you still with me? Okay, great. You assume the role of Starkiller, born Galen Merrick, currently Darth Vader's secret apprentice after being kidnapped as a child. You undertake missions for your master, mainly taking out the few Jedi who survived Order 66, before Vader literally kills you to prove his loyalty to the Emperor. Middle management, am I right? Jeez. But as we all know, Vader has some pretty big abandonment issues.
What have I done?
Still considering you useful, he just, casually brings you back to life in order to sow the seeds of what would become the Rebel Alliance, allegedly to destabilize the Emperor's control so that he and Starkiller could usurp the Imperial throne. However, this proves to be a double, or is it triple? Some sort of bluff, a ploy to lure potential rebels straight into the grasp of the Empire. But at this point, you're pretty much more rebel than Sith, and you're left with the choice of whether to save your friends from the Emperor, or let them die and exact your revenge on Vader. With everything that leads up to this moment, it's a genuinely difficult decision to make, and will definitely give you pause for thought. Despite no longer being canon, the plot of The Force Unleashed is brilliant, and it's easy to see why George Lucas himself was happy to sign it off as the official origin story for the Rebel Alliance. Your betrayal at the hands of Vader demonstrates a more cerebral side to his villainy, adding substance to his character beyond what we see in the movies. And what's more, the wider cast of heroes that we're introduced to in this game are largely fantastic too. Imperial pilot Juno Eclipse, former Jedi Master Kota, and your robot pal Proxy are all fully realized characters, and the fact that they no longer exist in the new canon is a real shame. Unless they've been introduced at some point recently, I have to admit I've not kept up with all of the books and comics, so if they are back in the canon, just let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, fingers crossed they can be woven back into the grand interplanetary tapestry of Star Wars soon. While the story of The Force Unleashed might now be ignored, its irrefutable legacy is how it gave us the best portrayal of the Force yet. Whereas other games might let you push, pull, and double jump with the power of midichlorians, here the Force is truly unleashed. Get it? So funny. You can throw a TIE fighter into the ground mid-flight, choke an opponent into the sky, then throw them against a wall. And even, if you're feeling in the mood, pulling a Star Destroyer out of space itself. Gah! It's a power trip, and a damn fun one at that. Bonus fact, Starkiller is modelled and voiced by Sam Witwer, who would go on to voice Darth Maul in both Star Wars The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. But what about the updates for the Switch? Well, much like the original Wii release, you can use the Joy-Cons for motion-controlled lightsaber action. But unlike the Wii, I found the Joy-Cons actually tracked my motions pretty well, and it was a lot of fun flailing my limbs around to cut up some stormtroopers. Is it a bit gimmicky? Perhaps. Will I predominantly be playing with a traditional control setup? Most definitely. But it's still a cool way to add to an experience I thought I'd done to death many years before. The only other thing worth remembering is that, like all of the other Star Wars games brought back by Aspyr, this is a re-release and not a remaster or remake. Despite some HD polishing, this is a game that's very much looking its age, which, depending on your levels of nostalgia, will either be a nice throwback or a little jarring. Personally, it really didn't bother me, but it's probably best to check it out in handheld mode first, where it's gonna be a lot more forgiving. Aside from that, it's exactly the same game I remember playing as a teenager, and I absolutely love it to death. Whether you've played it before or missed it the first time around, there's still really nothing that manages to give you a feel for the raw power of the Force. 2019's Jedi Fallen Order might have gotten close, but it doesn't let you pull a Star Destroyer out of the sky, so it loses by default. Now all Aspyr needs to do is re-release both original Battlefront games. Now that would be pretty wizard. But what I want to know is, are you going to pick up Star Wars The Force Unleashed on Switch? Do you have any fond memories of playing it back in the day? Please let me know in the comments below, I would love to read your thoughts. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe for plenty more Star Wars videos, or you can always visit upsidedownshark.com to keep up with everything we've got going on. But for now, my name is Tom, this has been UDS, and may the Force be with you.